destiny. Every time it's on everything, alive, you cheesing, I'm cheddaring. No matter the form of the weaponry, gotta keep stalking my destiny. Time's getting worse, I'm bettering. My sin is secure, ain't no tethering. I ain't gon' stop till I rest in peace and they put support on my great lettering. Every time, I ain't lay back unless I'm in my 300. Circle is little, cause I keep it 100. Minus my issues, I'm so hard when I'm on it. 100% ain't enough, I get 200. Every time, know what I'ma run from. I'm that one opponent, you don't want none from. Manual van where my strength get pumped from. So what's the lie to a child of God? Standing toe to toe, no hiding now. The Lord is with me, you can't fight the rock. I got the sauce, you want to hide. It's whatever. The destiny mine, I'ma stalk it out. The strength assassin, you just bought it out. Your giant carcass, I'ma walk it out. You gon' be wishing that you wouldn't have called me out. Cause every time be on that throw down, let's get us a showdown. Come and get some, I got another go around. Big as it is, so hard they go down. Since destiny something we can't change, but quitting will stop you from great gains. And faith will make capable great things. I done decided to break pain. Move around and call me on my A game. Full speed like the A train. The path that I'm stalking on, I gotta maintain. I'm by myself, I don't gang bang. When you want to get in my crown, then I'm down every time, not just now and then. Yeah, I heard you got your thousands, but me, yo, I got my 10,000s. God gave me dreams doing that, I would chase them.
I'm staying chasing, I'm staying focused on what I'm gonna be. I'm making it up, but I won't lose hope. Cause I'm still stuck in my destiny. I'm still stuck in my destiny.
Good afternoon, BFAM 109.6.com. How are you guys doing? What up, Facebook? What up, wherever you are tuning in? With this is Tea Time with Tara, live and on air. I am your host, Tara M. Williams, the voice of faith, hope, love, and leadership. Here we discuss business and Bible basics. We believe you have a voice and it needs to be heard. Please be sure to head over to my YouTube page at Stalk Your Destiny. Like and subscribe. Y'all don't want to miss any of our shows. And if you have missed anything, you can go back and preview episodes of the Tea Time with Tara show, where I interview guests and ask them what they need on their journey to stalking their destiny. Or you can go back and watch previous shows that you may have missed on air. Okay? So again, I am Tara M. Williams, y'all. If you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me at Tara M. Williams on Facebook. You can also head over to YouTube at Stalk Your Destiny Official. And I'm also on TikTok, new to TikTok, but also on TikTok at Stalk Your Destiny, y'all. I am the voice of faith, hope, love, and leadership. Welcome to Tea Time with Tara, live and on air. All right, y'all. Welcome. Sorry I missed y'all last week. And I'm a little bit under the weather today, but we're going to push through this show. Hopefully I have a great show for you guys today. Shout out to Stalk Your Destiny, y'all. Yes, I am the owner of Stalk Your Destiny. However, Stalk Your Destiny does sponsor this show as well. And so shout out to Stalk Your Destiny. With Stalk Your Destiny, guys, we believe that everything you want to become, you already are. It's about mending, mentoring, and it's about mindset, okay? So shout out to them. Today, we're going to jump right into our food for thought quote, okay? And our food for thought quote has been coming from my book, ABCs to Stalk Your Destiny, okay? And so today we are at the chapter titled Understanding, okay? And so our food for thought quote says this: how can we move forward with things if we do not understand what is needed or how to approach it? So think about that. How can we move forward with things if we don't understand what is needed or how to approach it? Okay. Now, this can be anything, y'all. This can be any area in life. You know, most times people come into this type of issue. Now, we're talking about business and Bible basics. So I'm going to talk about family, romantic relationships, and business, right? If somebody's giving you a directive, how can you go forward in that directive, you know, if you don't really understand? And this is where communication breaks up, especially in romantic relationships or business relationships. You may express something and it's not fully understood. And if you're not in a position, willing, or able to explain it, take the time to break it down or reframe it. Okay, that's a 2025 word of the year for Stalk Your Destiny. But if you are not in a position to reframe or break down something for someone else to understand in business or romantic relationship or even in family, such as parent-child relationships, it's really hard to have a full understanding of things. And so what I've learned is that in order to gain understanding, we need patience. Okay, we need patience because the person that you want to understand you may truly not understand. Most times we think they're being a jerk or something like that, like they're just wasting time. But they may truly not understand what's being asked of them. So if we were to grant more grace and have more patience in that, we may be able to allow the person we're speaking to have understanding. Or if we're the person who needs to be understood, we feel like you just don't get me. You know, most times we just write people off in that manner. We just say, you just don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get me. You know, we throw up our hands and we're done with it. But how do you expect that if you don't communicate that? If you don't communicate that, how do you expect to be understood? Right? And so without a full understanding, how can you do what's needed, or how can you know how to approach something? How do you gauge that? You know? And so it's very necessary that we go forward and try to walk in understanding. Something I say a lot is that what I see in communications with people is that where they have conflict. What I see when people have conflict is that we're more driven to being right or wrong, you know, or proving someone else wrong. Okay, we're more driven to blame someone than we are to sit at the foot of understanding. And whether someone was right or wrong or not, sitting at the foot of understanding says, I may not like or agree with what you've done, but I hear you, you know, or I want to hear you. Oftentimes when I get into some type of conflict or argument with someone, rather than continue on, rather than continue on arguing, I would just say, can you explain this to me? You know, and some people think you're being difficult because you need further information. You know, you need a deeper level of understanding, not just surface. And so with that, if I say, you know, can you give me more information? You know, what I'm trying to do is sit at the foot of understanding. I want to hear you. I want to hear what you have to say. You know, especially in hard and tough conversations, you have to make it clear to the other person, like, I desire to hear you and I desire to understand you. And no, I'm not going to promise that I'm going to agree with you. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to like what you have to say. What I will do is try to understand. Okay. And in business, especially in business, when you have, you know, someone in an authoritative position trying to give a directive and you truly don't understand, you have to remember that you have a voice and it needs to be heard. You have to be able to not only speak up for yourself, but you've got to be able to communicate what you need, you know? And that's kind of weird to ask too. It's like, how can I communicate what I need if I don't even know what's being asked of me? Well, that's what you need to know. You need to know what is being asked of you. So therein is where you know, try to figure out what are they trying to say, you know? So basically, how can we move forward with things if we do not understand what is needed or how to approach it? You can move forward the wrong way. That's how. Or you cannot move forward at all. Or you can just do what you feel is best and hope and pray that works out for you and for whomever else may be involved. Okay. But this is the reason that understanding is important when you're stalking your destiny. This is why understanding is an ABC to stalk your destiny and a food for thought quote for today, because without understanding, you're just kind of left to figure it out on your own, you know, and you can simply ask questions or sit at the foot of understanding and extend grace and patience to someone else. Okay. So that's our food for thought quote for the day today, y'all. Again, welcome back. Welcome back. I will be sipping tea today. So if you hear me pause, it's because I'm drinking some tea. Okay. Like I said, I'm a little bit under the weather, but I am doing as well as I can, and hopefully I deliver as best I can today without too many pauses for you guys, okay? Now, our next part, y'all, we do this devotional part before we get to the business topic of the week. Okay. And so the devotional that we've been working out of for the past few weeks is the Earthly Branches 12-book devotional series. And we're on the topic of fulfillment. Okay. We're on the topic of fulfillment. And both of these books are available at www.stalkyourdestiny.com/shop. Okay. You can get the Earthly Branches devotional. You can get ABCs to Stalk Your Destiny. You can get any of my books actually at www.stalkyourdestiny.com/shop. Okay. And so you can also go to Amazon.com if you wanted to get a copy of any of my books, share it with your friends and family. They're all purposed and meaningful. So hopefully you do go over to those sites and get your copy. But for fulfillment, we are in week 3 of the devotional focused on fulfillment. And I wonder if you guys are living a fulfilling life. Okay. And so in week 3 here, I'm not going to read all of this. I'm absolutely about to skip around in this because this is 2 whole chapters. Okay. And we have an hour of time. We don't have that much time. Okay. So week 3 comes from 1 Samuel chapter 1 and chapter 2. Okay. And so I'm going to skip around here, and I don't really know which ones I want to really dive into for reading purposes. So just bear with me, okay? 1 Samuel chapters 1 and 2, okay? So verse 3 in chapter 1 says, year after year, this man went up from his town to worship and sacrifice to the Lord Almighty at Shiloh, where Hophni and Phinehas, the 2 sons of Eli, were priests of the Lord. Whenever the day came for Elkanah to sacrifice, he would give portions of the meat to his wife Peninnah and to all her sons and daughters. But to Hannah he gave a double portion because he loved her, and the Lord had closed her womb. Because the Lord had closed Hannah's womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. This went on year after year. Hannah went up to the house of the Lord. Her rival provoked her till she wept and would not eat. Okay, she wept and would not eat. Her husband Elkanah would say to her, Hannah, why are you weeping? Why don't you eat? Why are you downhearted? Don't I mean more to you than 10 sons? And so what happened here, y'all? Well, I'm gonna get to it in a minute, okay? So let me jump around. I'm going to go to verse 23 now, okay? And I'll come back to Hannah and speak about her in a minute. But I'm going to jump to verse 23, okay? Do what seems best to you, her husband Elkanah told her. Stay here until you have weaned him. She had a child, y'all, okay? And she dedicated her child to the Lord. It says, stay here until you have weaned him. Only may the Lord make good his word. So the woman stayed at home and nursed her son until she had weaned him, okay? And after he was weaned, she took the boy with her, as young as he was, along with the 3-year-old bull, an ephah of flour, and a skin of wine, and brought him to the house of the Lord at Shiloh, okay? When the bull had been sacrificed, they brought the boy to Eli, and she said to him, pardon me, my Lord, as surely as you live, I am the woman who stood here beside you praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord, for his whole life will be given over to the Lord. Okay? So you guys, that's from chapter 1 of 1 Samuel. Okay? Chapter 2 starts with Hannah's prayer. Okay? So she fasted, she prayed, she did what she said she would do in her covenant that she made with God. And then chapter 2 is her prayer and more about her son Samuel. Okay, this is 1 Samuel 1 and 2. I'm not going to read more into it because I'm going to talk about it, okay? So let's go here. The first point of this says, even in her misery, Hannah was favored. How many of us are so caught up in the reality of our sorrows that we don't see the entire picture? Now that's a lot. Okay. Hannah was tormented by Peninnah for something out of her hands, the fact that she was barren. Okay. Yet her husband still praised her and he still loved her. Okay. So the daily focus here says, you can still be favored in your pain. Hey, Gigi. And then the question here says, are you tormenting someone for their shortcomings? Okay. And it's loaded, y'all. This is loaded. Even in her misery, Hannah was favored. Okay. And how many of us are caught up in the reality of our sorrows that we don't see the entire picture? Like, think of a time in your life where it got so bad, where you could hardly pray. It got so bad where you could hardly pray. And you just were caught up in what was going on around you, overwhelmed, depressed, weighed down, burdened by things around you. But just please know this, you can still be favored in your pain. Even in your pain, you can still be favored. And then on the flip side of it, are you Peninnah in a situation? Like, are you laughing at someone's pain? Are you tormenting somebody because you may have one up on them? Think about that, because you don't want to be that person. Okay. Point number 2 says, amid agony and pain, can you still cry out to the Lord? Okay. Because Hannah cried and prayed and cried and prayed. Okay. She wouldn't eat. She stopped eating. And it says, why go to people other than to vent in a safe space? They worshiped God. And it says, give your pleas to the Lord. Okay. So if you're going to plea or cry out to God, give that over to God. Like, people really can't change your circumstance. God can move people to support you in that, but if she's in agony and pain for something intangible, then the only person or thing that can change that is God. Right? So she cried out to God, and the daily focus here just says, the Lord sees your pain and he cares about your worship. Where is your worship and praise? And I separate the two of worship and praise, because for me, they're two different emotions. They're two different mindsets, two different environments, right? My environment for praise is joyful, happy, it may be upbeat, but excuse me, I have to wipe my nose, I'm sorry. But my atmosphere, that's what it is. They're two different atmospheres. My atmosphere for worship is when I can cry out, when I can lay out with God. Okay. Where is your worship and praise? When you want to break things, you want to break these strongholds of the enemy, you want change to come in your life, you need a picker upper. Where is your worship? What is your atmosphere of worship look and feel like for you? And now I don't mean for you and the people around you, because it could be totally different for you and a loved one on what worship is necessary for you or how you respond to worship. I don't know if you've ever been just in a room full of people and they're just praising God, and every person is in their own zone of praise, right? Praise unto the Lord, just worship, pure worship. If you have never experienced pure worship, get to a church or a fellowship, y'all. Please get to a church or a fellowship and an atmosphere of worship. I don't mean an environment of partying, okay? Because a lot of churches these days have a very upbeat praise atmosphere. And there's nothing wrong with praise. We need praise and worship, okay? But they're separate. They're separate. Some churches start off with praise and worship, so they do a couple of worship songs and a couple of praise songs. But literally, if you want to change your environment, get into an atmosphere of worship, y'all. I can't even explain to you how worship moves things and changes things. Okay. So where is your worship and praise? That should be a lifestyle, something incorporated in your life. Okay. As regular as you think it should be incorporated or added, unto your day. Okay. So point 3 here says sacrifice is the name of the game. Hannah prayed for a child, and when she was blessed with him, she dedicated him back to the Lord. Okay. Then she prayed to the Lord with thanksgiving. So the daily focus here says, give of yourself completely to the Lord. And the question here says, what is a major sacrifice you would make to the Lord? Okay. So think about that. But my question actually is this. It says that she prayed for a child. She was blessed with the child. She dedicated him back to the Lord. And then she prayed again and thanked God. I feel like we are such a selfish people, y'all, because we'll pray to God for what we want. And God will bless us, right? But then will we actually return what God gave us? Like turn it loose. And that's funny because I used to hear older people say, turn them loose, and they were just talking about like letting a person go or something. But she literally turned loose the thing that she prayed for and was blessed with. And it kind of takes us back to Abraham and Sarah. They were told they were going to have a child. They wanted a child. They were told they were going to have a child. They had a child. And then Abraham had to turn him loose. Okay, like he had to turn him loose over to God, like be willing to give him back to the Lord. Really think about that. Really sit with that. The thing that you're really hoping and praying for, are you willing to receive it only to bless God with it? Like give it back. Are you willing to do that? To give it back and thank God that you got it in the first place? Are you willing to do that? Are you committed to giving yourself completely to the Lord? And I can't, express what that looks like for you, giving yourself completely to God. I can't tell you what you should do, what you need to do, and how it looks, and none of that. I can't do that. But I can ask because you would know for yourself. Are you giving yourself completely to the Lord? And then what is a major sacrifice you would make to the Lord? Like really think about that for real. What's a major sacrifice that you would make? Sometimes we're forced into sacrifices, y'all. And forced into it, I just mean like if God says surrender, you've got to surrender. And so that's just kind of how it goes. And if you don't surrender, that thing still could be taken from you. It's just now it's forcefully taken versus you being willing to surrender it to the Lord. Because it's being used for your good anyway. Okay? So that's just something to think about. Point 4 here says, and I'm also sorry too, if I sound a little weird, I am a little bit, maybe a lot of bit stuffy. So thank you for bearing with me today on this Monday. Okay? Don't be deceived. You can live life as you choose, but there are consequences. Okay. Because of Hannah's promise and faithfulness to God, she was blessed with more children. When you are doing, when you are doing wrong, the Lord will offer you ways out, but it's up to you to take them. Okay. In a daily focus here, it says, be mindful of the choices that you make today. The question for the day here says, are your actions leading to life or destruction? Now let's sit there. Okay, let's sit there. Are your actions leading to life or destruction? And I don't think that we sit long enough in decision making. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and she made a statement about herself saying, I just overthink sometimes. And I said, no, you don't. No, you don't. You're not overthinking, okay? You're thinking things through, okay? So when we think about the things that we're just going to do, like I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants, well, you have to know, that's either going to bring life into your life, more goodness, or destruction into your life. Okay. And so you have to pick your poison on that. Do I want life or do I want destruction? Because by the decisions we make, we bring those different things into our own lives. Okay. So we've got to be mindful about that, y'all. Okay. So that was from 1 Samuel chapters 1 and 2. Go back and read those. Definitely read about Hannah's prayer. And definitely, just read what she did with and for Samuel, okay, for her son, and how she honored God by asking, pleading in that, and also keeping her part of the promise that she made. Okay. So go back and read that. That was in Earthly Branches, week 3 of the Earthly Branches devotional series, book titled Fulfillment. Or did I go backwards? Yeah, Fulfillment. Okay. And again, you can get those from stalkyourdestiny.com/shop. All right. Now, guys, if you want to register for classes with me, the ABCs to Stalk Your Destiny classes are available online. You can register at www.stan.store/stalkyourdestiny. That will take you to the link to register for the classes. Now, the classes are broken up into 8 different sections. This is an online course where we go from A to Z, including accountability, balance, taking a chance, effectiveness, management, learning, understanding, trust, all these different topics that we've gone over here on the show. We go more in depth with those things in terms of your personal business or whatever ministry, anything you have going on for development, business or personal development. Okay, you want to register for those classes. If you want to figure out what you're on earth for, if you want to figure out, I just want to transition from my job to something else, or I just want to find my purpose in life, or, I really just want to figure out a way forward. Like, I just really don't know where I'm going with things. I thought I had this and now I have that. Whatever it is, okay? If you want to pivot in your career, this course is for you. The ABCs to Stalk Your Destiny, in that, depending on which class you take, or if you take all 8 classes, we create a roadmap to success in that. We also break down your obstacles and how you can overcome those things. Okay. And so you want to get involved in that. And also we set a tone. We set the tone for a way forward in your life for what you want to do next. Okay. Stalking your destiny, connecting you to your destiny one step at a time. Okay. And so sign up for the ABCs to Stalk Your Destiny classes. Go check it out on Eventbrite and see if it's for you. Okay. And I'm sorry, not on Eventbrite. Go to www.stan.store/stalkyourdestiny. That will take you to the link to eventbrite.com where you can register for the classes. Okay. You can take 1, 2, 7, 8, however many you want out of the 8. And the classes do come with a copy of the book ABCs to Stalk Your Destiny as well. So you'll get a copy of the book and you'll also be enrolled in the class. And we will go over the book more in depth than I have been on the show, just giving you food for thought. But we'll go over how to apply those things into your life and how that helps you individually, okay? Or your business, office, corporately as well. Get from A to Z in terms of stalking your destiny. Again, you can go to the link. The link to get to that is www.stan.store/stalk-your-destiny, y'all. Okay. Now, our business topic of the week this week is fasting and praying. It's fasting and praying. Okay. And so here we already talked about the fact that Hannah fasted, okay? I'm sorry, y'all, too. My nose is just leaking. So I apologize for that. Okay. So we talked about the fact that Hannah fasted. When was the last time you went on a fast? Haven't even heard of a fast in terms of, I don't know, fasting's not a Christian thing only, okay? So most people talk about fasting in ways of like weight loss. But When was the last time you went on a fast? In First Samuel, it talks about the fact that Hannah, she was weeping, she was crying, she was hurt, she was in pain, and she wouldn't eat. She just stopped eating and started just pleading with God to bless her, you know. And so, what is it that you need God to do in your life? What is it that you need a breakthrough in? What area do you need breakthrough in your life? This is not really something to take lightly, okay? Like in the Bible, it tells us to fast and pray several different times. Several different times it tells us to fast and pray, but are we doing it? Now, if you're anything like me, you might start a fast and then you might feel like, I'm failing at this. I think I mentioned that too a couple weeks ago. I feel sometimes like I'm failing at fasting because I'm the type of person that I will start fasting and I'll make a promise to God and then I'll just keep adding on to it. And so I'll just pile on to my own plate. Please do not do that, y'all. If you are fasting, understand what a fast is when you're fasting and praying, okay? This is really to shift the atmosphere of things, to break up strongholds, to end warfare, if you're in warfare. And sometimes fasting can bring about warfare too, because you get those spiritual attacks sometimes. So be mindful that you've got to be in we got to talk about the posture of prayer, okay, in a minute when we go with this. But fasting, what reasons would you fast? It's just if you need a breakthrough in your life, that is an amazing reason to fast. If you feel like you're just not hearing the voice of God, you're like, I'm just so cluttered in my mind. And I just really want to hear from God. I really need God's help. I really need God's direction. Or you just gotten off track and you're like, man, I just have gotten so far away from the Lord. I've gotten so far away from my own path. Like, God, how did I get here? Okay. Those are reasons to fast. You don't really read it. You don't really need a reason to fast. However, those are some reasons to go on a fast because you want to break up what's been happening. What is it? Break the monotony of what's taking place in your own life. Okay. And you have to understand why you're doing it though. If you're just fasting just because, you're not really dedicated to it, or honoring God in it. So you kind of have to be mindful of what is your why in fasting. Like, Lord, I just want to do this to honor you. I just want to do it to see if I can do it. Self-discipline is a big thing in terms of fasting. I used to do it for self-discipline and be like, okay, God, let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can commit to you. Like, do I really love you like I say I love you? And what I realized was that I didn't have to challenge myself on the decision I already made. I'm going to say that again for you guys, okay? I didn't have to challenge myself on a decision I had already made. The decision that I made was to love God. But the fasting, I didn't have to fast to prove that to myself that I do love God. I had to know it for myself. So in fasting, I would fail because I was trying to prove a point that God already knew in my heart was true. God already knew that I hoped to please him. God already knew, these things. God already knows you. Okay. You don't need to fast to prove a point to God. You may need to fast to get in alignment with God. Okay. And we're not even saying, like, I think most times when we think about being in alignment with God, we may think about the fact that maybe we're doing something wrong. It may not be that you're doing something wrong. It could just be that you took a different path than what was laid before you. You may have made a different decision. And so now you're like, God, where am I? Or you trusted God and now you're walking this path alone and you have no idea how you got here or where you're going from there. Okay. And so, understanding that God knows your heart, God knows you, and if you're going to fast, like I had someone tell me, she was like, you're not failing at fasting because you keep trying, you keep doing it. you know. Uh, excuse me. Um, so here's the thing, okay? What I didn't know. I didn't know that there were all these different types of fast. Okay. I knew there were a few different ones, but I've recently been fasting and I didn't know that there were more. Okay. And the more made me feel more, it made me feel comfortable because I didn't know that, okay, Esther did a fast for 3 days. I didn't remember that. I've read the book of Esther, but I didn't recall that she had done a fast for 3 days. Okay. There was another fast mentioned in there for one day. It was a 24-hour fast mentioned in the Bible. I don't remember where that one was mentioned. I don't remember what story that was in. Okay. Then Daniel did a 21-day fast, and I think he also did a 10-day fast. Okay. So there's so many different types of fast to do, so many different amounts of time to do it in. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. My nose is just, whew, I'm under the weather. Okay, y'all, but I'm pushing through. You push through with me. Okay. And so there's different types of fasting and things like that. But here's another point. Okay. Even in suffering, God is there. And if you are in warfare and you're like, I'm trying to break this thing up, this is where the atmosphere of worship comes in while you're fasting. And if you have to do, like when I said, why are you fasting? Knowing why you're fasting helps you to focus your prayers during your fast. Okay. You've got to be, thank you, Gigi. I'm pushing, I'm trying. You've got to be very intentional with your prayer life while you are fasting, because one thing is you don't want to be fasting and vulnerable and not covered. Okay. You don't want to be fasting vulnerable and not covered. So you got to know what you're in need of. Like there's a Smokey Norfolk song I hear in my head right now. I think it's Smokey Norfolk. He said, I dare you to stretch out on God and ask him what you're in need of. I dare you to stretch out and ask God for what you're in need of. Okay. And so when you're fasting, you're not fasting for fun. It's not just, oh, this is cute. That's not the case. When you're fasting, you're like, God, I really do need you. I need you to cover X, Y, and Z. I need you to tell me which way to go. Like, God, I really do need you. And that's the time where in your suffering, excuse me, if you keep yourself transparent with the Lord, okay, because God already knows us. There's no need to hide. He already knows our heart. Keep yourself transparent, but also in that time of fasting and being transparent with yourself and with the Lord, that's helping you with your suffering. It's actually like cleansing you out, not just the fact of not eating or not drinking or partial fasting. Not only is that physically cleaning you out, but when you get into the atmosphere of worship and you're actively praying and seeking and pleading, like Hannah was pleading to God, okay? When you get into that atmosphere, you literally do feel yourself being cleaned up. You literally feel yourself being freed of that weight, of that burden. You can literally break chains in the spirit realm through fasting and praying. And some Bibles, especially the NIV Bibles now, I don't know what other translations, but the NIV Bibles have taken out some of the scriptures where it says, but do this by fasting and praying. Do this by fasting and praying, okay? And so you've got to be mindful that that's very important, that we fast and pray, okay? So you get to determine what type of fast you want to do. You get to determine why you're fasting. You get to determine what tools you're using to fast, okay? And actually, I created the Earthly Branches devotional series. It's a 12-book devotional series for 12 months of fasting, okay? That is what it was created for. So when I do the devotionals here and it has different topics, it's because those topics are a tool. These books are tools for fasting, because most times when we fast, we're like, well, what am I supposed to study while I'm doing this? Where do I take my focus, right? What do I need help or support with while I'm fasting? And so make sure that you have tools for fasting. You can get those books at my website, stalkyourdestiny.com/shop, or amazon.com. Okay. But also make sure you get whatever resource supports your fast. Okay. I made those resources for people who may just need those different topics covered, and there's more coming, but make sure you get your tools for fasting, because you should be replacing some of your TV time or all of your TV time with reading the Bible, or just there are different activities you can do. If you're replacing some of your food, when you have these moments of temptation where you want to go back and forth to things, then that's when you go to your tools for fasting or your Bible. Typically, you go to your Bible when you pray, but sometimes we need help with that. Sometimes we need focus. Like, I am reading this book, and I did forget to bring it here with me. But while I'm fasting, I'm doing a 21-day fast right now. And while I'm fasting, there's this book. It's a pretty little book called Fasting. Okay. and it's by, I want to say his name is Jens 10. Something, I don't know. I don't want to mess it up. Okay. It's a weird little name. And I don't want to mess it up. But I'm using that tool because I have to do things like daily. And so I need like a chapter in a book to read daily, or a journal entry to do daily. And this book has both. It has at the beginning of it 17 chapters, and then in the back it has a 21-day journal. And so also with my devotionals, what I did was I made them interactive, so that when we read and I ask you those questions and things, there's actually spaces for you to consider the questions and write the answers to it for yourself as well, because the challenge is your own mind. Okay. To open up your mind while you're fasting to what the Lord has in store for you, and to the changes that the Lord wants to make in you. Okay. Fasting's not always about gimme. Dear Lord, I need you to give me this. Like, you can be in need. You can be in need, like, God, I need a financial windfall. God, I need healing in my body. God, my family, God, my children, my work, my influence, Lord, it can be all of these topics, right? But it can't just be give me. It's got to be like, Lord, this is my sacrifice unto you. Like, I need help. And you got to be willing, like Hannah was, to do what's necessary in that time. Like I said, Hannah, she fasted, she prayed, she cried, she wept. She was sad, y'all. Okay. Her sorrow pushed her to fasting. Okay. Whether you're good, happy, joyful, or not, fasting can be I hear the song Waymaker in my head, and that's not Waymaker, but that's a good one. If you don't know Waymaker, look it up and listen to it. I think it's she says the chain breaker or something like that. Break. Okay, I don't know the song, but I just hear that in my head. Like, even Tasha Cobb's song "Break Every Chain." That's not the one I was thinking of. But while you're fasting, Tasha Cobb's song, Break Every Chain, is a song that you can listen to because you want God to remove the things that need to be removed out of your life that are blocking you from your blessings, things within you, things around you. And you want God to come in, and have his way in your life. You want elevation, okay? And so you've got to pray with intentionality. You've got to be focused on what it is you need from God and be open to doing whatever it takes, okay? But here's the thing. When God gives you a direction while you're fasting, will you obey? Will you honor what God is telling you to do? Because you can be fasting and praying, and if you're anything like me, you'll be fasting and praying, and God will say, surrender. Now, surrender looks cute. You're like, oh, I'm just going to put my hands up, and God, Lord, I just love you so much, and Lord, you just have your way. That looks cute, okay? And that sounds good. Like, God, I just give you everything, And, of course, we want to say it out loud when we're praying because we want to be in that position of prayer. We want to give everything over to God in prayer, okay? You want to totally surrender, but surrender is hard. It's not easy. It's not cute. Surrender is hard. It's hard, okay? So Hannah had to give her son. She promised God she would dedicate her son to the Lord. So she did that, okay? Imagine that, dedicating your son to the Lord. Like, what? Imagine Abraham going to take Isaac up this mountain, okay? Surrender is hard. Imagine being betrayed. Okay, here we go. Imagine being betrayed by a loved one, and God says, shut up, be still, make peace in your heart. I'm in control. Trust me. Do nothing. Say nothing. Imagine that. Imagine how that feels. Trusting God. Allowing God to be God over your situation, over your life. And you're fasting and you're praying and you're in pain. And you're like, God, this, that. And God's like, be still. I got you. Can you imagine how tough that is to totally surrender? Okay. And there's a song. Yes, I know I'm giving y'all songs. I'm known for it now. By now I should be known for it. Okay. But let go, let God. Okay. And the song is, it's not even just the whole cliche of, oh, let go and let God. No. He says, I couldn't seem to fall asleep. There was so much on my mind, searching for peace, but peace I could not find. Okay. He said, then I kneeled down to pray and plead, pray, help me, please. Okay. And God said, you don't have to cry. I'll supply all your needs. Sometimes your needs ain't what you want. Excuse me. Sometimes your needs are not what you want. Okay. And so they may not always match. It may be that God's like, let me have my way. Let me do my perfect work in your life, okay? Seldom is that what we see or what we believe, okay? So, can you surrender? Can you let go and let God? And here's something I had to do, and I hope this helps you too. I hope this is helping you, period. But something that I had to do a while ago, and I still return to it when I need to, when I'm struggling with surrender. I turned on William McDowell. I think it's called Worship Medley. And it says in that, I surrender all to you. Okay. I surrender all to you. I can't even think of the rest of it right now just because of being under the weather. But I believe it's called Worship Medley. Look that up. Okay. If you need help, and I'm so sorry for those of you who are watching and seeing me clean my nose, I'm sorry, but I can't just let my nose run while I'm on here with you guys. But okay, look the song up, William McDowell, Worship Medley. Okay, and if you struggle like I did with surrendering, or sometimes I still do struggle with surrendering, listen to that song every day or as much as possible. Because in it, you literally get into a posture of prayer. You literally get into a posture or position of surrendering, like, okay, God, like the burden of whatever it is that's weighing you down lifts over time. Okay. When you just say, God, you do it. You take your hands off of it. God, you do it. I trust you, Lord. You got this, God. Okay. And if you can't do that, then listen to Yolanda Adams. The battle is not yours, but listen to it live, because she speaks during the song. She's talking during the song. And while she's talking, she says, God needs a chance to prove to your enemies that he is God. He knows how to take you around the enemy. He knows how to hide you. Okay. And he just needs a chance to prove to your enemies, And so sometimes what you're going through, what you're suffering through, it's not about you. Sometimes it's about the people connected to you, who God wants to let them know, like, you're not God. You're not me. You can't be me. You can't do me. I got this kid covered. I got this person covered. I already protected their family. Sometimes God needs us to just get out of his way. Get out of the way. Sit down. Okay. Take a seat in your sorrow. Take a seat in your sorrow. By that, I do not mean be overcome by your depression. By all means, battle. Okay? Fight the good fight, okay? But take a seat in your suffering. Like me right now, under the weather, right? But if my body wasn't allowing me to do these things today, to show up today, I actually feel good. I'm just, draining. I'm just a little bit stuffy, right? I actually feel good. So my body is physically capable of performing today, although I'm under the weather. Now, if it came a time where my body would not perform, I would have to take a seat in my suffering. Right now, I am suffering through. Okay. Right now, I'm suffering through. So if I didn't take a seat in my suffering, if I didn't take a seat in my goodness, the great things that are happening, okay, I would be taken away from what God wants to do in my life. And so by fasting and praying, we take our business to the next level. We take our families to the next level. We take our health to the next level. Okay. Our entire lives can be elevated and lifted by surrendering to God, fasting and praying, y'all. Okay. If you love this show, please share it with somebody, y'all. Not only share this episode, but let somebody know we're here every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, y'all. And if you want to sponsor an ad on this show, we would love to share your events, your products, your service, your company. If you just want to do a shout out, we would love to share what you have going on. If you would like to sponsor an ad for this show, we have a few different ad spaces. So in order to get a sponsorship package, please email me at teatimewithtara. That's TEATIMEWITHTARAH @gmail.com. And I will send you our sponsorship package, or you can hit me up on any social media platform as mentioned before. Okay. For sponsorship so that we can keep this show going and we can showcase what you have going on as well. Y'all, we have hit over 195,000 listening devices. So please don't take that lightly when you consider sponsorship ads. Okay. Don't take that lightly. If you just want to make a donation to the show, you're like, I don't need an ad, but I love what you're doing here, want to help keep this going, then you can send your donations via Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal at Stalk Your Destiny. Now, the PayPal is paypal.me/stalkyourdestiny, or you can do stalkyourdestiny@gmail.com with PayPal. For Cash App, it's # Stalk Your Destiny. And for Venmo, it's simply Stalk Your Destiny. Okay. We appreciate all sponsorships and donations. We want to keep this show live and going. And if we can do more in the community with this as well, we want to be able to give you guys more, keep growing with you, as I hope you are growing by listening into the show every week. Okay. And so today again was about fasting and praying. That was our business topic of the week this week. And our food for thought this week was about understanding. So hopefully you consider the two. Have you considered trying to understand someone if they were fasting, or their way of fasting, or even the different religions, y'all? Sometimes you learn a little bit more about the God that we serve, even by hearing someone else's journey, okay, or their beliefs. You may not believe the same way, but sitting at the foot of understanding can open you up to see more of God in people as well. Okay. And so in business, in personal life, in any of that, try to sit at the foot of understanding. And if you're fasting and praying and you don't understand, then ask God for what you're in need of and wait and see what the Lord says to you. Like Habakkuk says, I wrote down my complaints and, I waited to see what the Lord said. Then the Lord said, write the vision and make it plain. Okay. So be mindful of when you are fasting or when you're trying to understand, that you are open to hearing the voice of God, open to doing what God has called you to do. Okay. And open to going forward in goodness, y'all. Okay. Let me see. I think I gave you all my website, but just in case, because I'm a little out of it now. Now that the show's over, I got sidetracked. So for more information about me, you can visit stalkyourdestiny.com. That's STALK, yourdestiny.com. Again, you can find me on Instagram at stalkyourdestinyofficial, or you can find me on Facebook at Tara M. Williams. And again, I'm new to TikTok, but I am on TikTok at Stalk Your Destiny as well. Okay. Excuse me. And we're going to wrap it up for today because I am just really trying to hold it all together for you guys. Okay. This has been Tea Time with Tara, live and on air. I am your host, Tara M. Williams, the voice of faith, hope, love, and leadership. Here we discuss business and Bible basics. We believe you have a voice and it needs to be heard. Don't forget to head over to my YouTube page, y'all, at Stalk Your Destiny. Like this video, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and catch episodes of my other show, Tea Time with Tara Show, where I interview guests and ask them what they need along the way to stalking their destiny, what they need on their journey, okay? Be sure to hit me up on social media. Follow me. Tell me what you think of the show. Comment below if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook or anything. Comment below, chime in, and tell me what you think or what your own thoughts are, your own experience. We would love to hear that, okay? And also, if you like my shirt, if you guys can see me visibly, I have on a hoodie that says accountability at Stalk Your Destiny. And that's available on my website as well at stalkyourdestiny.com. It can take you to the link to my apparel. Okay. But I am Tara M. Williams. I'll be back here next Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am the voice of faith, hope, love, and leadership. This has been Tea Time with Tara, live and on air. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
I'm staying chasing, I'm staying focused on what I'm gonna be. I'm making that down, but I won't lose ground. 'Cause I'm still stuck in my destiny. I'm still stuck in my destiny.
Every time it's on everything, alive, you cheesing, I'm cheddering. No matter the form of the weaponry, gotta keep stalking my destiny. Time's getting worse, I'm bettering. My sin is secure, ain't no tethering. I ain't gonna stop till I rest in peace and they put a hold on my great lettering. Every time, I ain't lay back unless I'm in my 300. Circle is little, cause I keep it 100. Minus my issues, I'm so hard when I'm on it. 100% ain't enough, I get 200. Every time, know what I'ma run from. I'm that one opponent, you don't want none from. Manual van where my strength get pumped from. So it's the lie to a child of God. Standing toe to toe, no hot now. The Lord is with me, you can't fight the rock. I got the sauce, you want my to hide. It's whatever. The destiny mine, I'ma stalk it out. The strength assassin, you just bought it out. Your giant carcass, I'ma walk it out. You gon' be wishing that you wouldn't have called me out. Cause every time be on that throw down, let's get us a showdown. Come and get some, I got another go around. Big as they is, so hard they go down. Since destiny something we can't change, but quitting will stop you from great gains. And faith will make capable great things. I done decided to break pain. Mess around and call me on my A game. So speak like